this isn't healthy in the long run. Like, I should be bleeding. Like, I should be releasing an egg. Hi, I'm Taylor-Alexis, and this is a safe place to talk dangerously about life lessons in your 30s, wellness, and film. So if you're new, welcome, and if you're not, thanks for coming on back. Finally, we get to talk about wellness, and the first topic is life after birth control, okay? Got off of it, and I want to talk about rediscovering your body in your 30s, darling. So let's talk. Now, of course, I want to give my disclaimer. I am not a healthcare professional. I am simply just stating what I've researched, what I've felt, and my experiences, and just sharing it with you. I always say, please, please, please speak with your doctor. Also, see if you can get 2 opinions before making any sudden decisions. And yeah, I wanted to share my experience with birth control and getting off of it. And hopefully that connects with you. And if you are thinking about getting off birth control, or you've recently got off it as well, let me know in the comments, and we can talk about all things, hopefully, birth control. We are living in an absolutely crazy time to be alive, where I know it's been a really rough week, but our reproductive rights have been under attack for like the last 2 years now. It feels like this impending doom that's coming with, this election results, but we can't give up. We cannot, but let's talk about it. So I have a ton of notes on my phone, so we're gonna get to a lot of them. Feel free to grab a snack, come on back, and we will chat about all things birth control. Birth control is really tied into our freedom as women, right? This could be from my own experience talking to women and just seeing like what they've been through as well. But it seems as if doctors over the years have just prescribed birth control for any kind of like reproductive issue. It's just like, you know what? This is the solve it pill. That's it. And to be on birth control from like teenage years to adult years seems so crazy when you like step back and think about it. While birth control definitely solves some reproductive or medical issues, the whole like long-term use of it just wasn't sitting right with me anymore, especially like frontal lobes developing and all that stuff. I was like, I don't know if I could do this anymore. So I kind of want to start with my story of birth control. But before we get into that, I always got a doc recommendation, a really good doc about birth control and the complexities and the risk and the liberation that it gives women. It was really conveyed in this doc called The Business of Birth Control. It was directed by Abby Epstein and executive produced by Ricky Lake. It premiered at Doc NYC in 2021, and I remember going to see it and just sitting in the theater like pissed, sad, just like frustrated. And one of these days, I feel like I'll do a video about bringing back feminine rage. I think people are a little bit too comfortable with us being so passive. No. Sometimes a little feminine rage will get some things done, right? We would need some of that, or more of it. That's a good doc. Check it out. I think it's on Prime. A fun fact, in the 60s, less than 10% of couples were using contraception. This is why I find sociology to be so fascinating, because if you think about what the world was like back in the 60s and the 70s, right? It was kind of liberal, kind of free to an extent. I couldn't imagine people like signing up left and right for, some restrictive things when it comes to reproduction. So yeah, I just thought that was an interesting fact. But then also now, about 65% of people globally use contraception. So it's not uncommon. It has been a way of life for some time now. Okay, so for me, it all started back in college. I was on the pill. I think it was Loestrin. I was about 18 or 19 years old. I was taking the pill, and I didn't realize it until later that I was depressed. Like for the first 3 to 4 months while my body was getting adjusted, I had this unexplainable sadness. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I just couldn't think about what that reason was. I'm in college, I'm having the time of my life. Why am I sad? And then also my forearms got a little hairy. I didn't like that, but that was a side effect of being on the pill. I was gaining weight, more than the freshman 15. It was just like a lot happening. I had mood swings. I just felt like super irritable for no reason. I also didn't enjoy taking a pill every day. I mean, I like making my life easier. So taking a pill every day just felt like stress. Yeah, you can set an alarm and take it, but I was like, ugh, this just feels like I'm doing too much. I remember there was a point I was like, you know what? I don't want to take this anymore. I don't want to take this. I will get off of it. So I talked to my doctor at the time. I'm going to just say this now. There's going to be a lot of references to my doctors. I've had different OBGYNs over the years with job changes, insurance changes, you know, things like that. So they're not all the same doctors, but we're just gonna loop them in as that. So I remember speaking to my doc, and he was suggesting a bunch of different birth control options, and none of them just sounded cool. Like, I was like, I don't want to do IUDs because just the idea of having some kind of copper thing stuck up in me. No, I was hearing horror stories from my girlfriends about like what happens during sex and things like that, or things moving. No, right? And then even my doctor actually ordered it to get it done, right? To get it inserted, and you have to wait for them to get it shipped to the doctor's office. Then you come back in for them to insert it. And for some reason they dropped the ball and they never ordered it. So I took that as a sign that I'm just not gonna be on an IUD. So that was out. Then you have the Depo shot, and I feel like I could have sworn I saw an article the other day that someone's actually suing Pfizer for like brain tumors and other neurological issues that they're having from Depo shots. So that was a dub. Plus, I didn't feel like going into an office every couple of months to get a shot to prevent myself from having a baby. I was like, oh God, like, si jamais. I'm just not gonna be on birth control. So that was a good run. And then in 2018, I got back on birth control, but this time it was different. I was using Nexplanon. And yeah, it was good until it wasn't. Now, before I get into this, and I'm just gonna like, man, oh man, I've heard some things dealing with doctors and being a Black woman. It's just insane. If you looked at my documentary, I spoke briefly about being pregnant and having an abortion. I remember the doctor saying, well, you're 28 and it's not like you met this guy at the club. You should just keep the baby. And I guess I was in shock at the time, but I was just like, what? Like, first of all, are you gonna help me raise this baby? You gonna come and be a godfather? Cause what? So yeah, Nexplanon, okay. Nexplanon is a small implant that they put in your arm, right? I think it's like just right underneath the skin in your non-dominant upper arm. So in your bicep area, blah, blah. So if you're a righty, you're getting it in your left hand. And if you're a lefty, you're getting it in your right hand. I'm a righty, so I got it in my left hand. This is a perfect birth control for me because it's one of those like set it and forget it kind of things, right? It's good for 3 years. It's 99% effective. You know, it starts working 5 to 7 days after your period. What could go wrong? And I remember the doc said at the time, you know, you can keep Nexplanon in your arm for 4 years. You don't have to just do the 3. And I was like, I'm gonna go with what the pamphlet says, and I'm gonna take it out 3 years. So I'll see you in 3 years, doc. During that time, eventually you stop getting a period, or you get a period every 3 to 4 months. I thought it was great. I didn't really have any issues with it. It was like 3 years went by, and I was like, cool, let's make an appointment to take this one out and put another one in for the next 3 years. Because I was like, I'm not getting married yet. Let's keep that protection going. But not getting your period for like an extended amount of time was kind of crazy to think about as a woman. I'm just like, I feel like this isn't healthy in the long run. Like, I should be bleeding. Like, I should be releasing an egg, something, you know. But yeah, 3 years went by. I didn't have any real issues on it. I just thought it was like perfect for me to do this again. So I was like, okay, well, we are not having a baby just yet, and if I want to have a baby, I can take it out and proceed with the baby making. But no ring, no fling. Whatever. Fast forward to 2021, I was very nervous about taking it out. I did the foolish thing of Googling videos to watch the process. Oh, I don't know. I feel like I wanted to like prep myself for the worst and just be like, okay, at least I know this is how it's gonna go. And I saw the worst. And I'm like, oh no, what do you mean you didn't get it out the first time? What? So to remove it, they have to Well, once they put it in, they also apply local anesthesia to your arm. So that way you don't feel anything. And it's kind of like getting your ears pierced with a gun in a sense. You just kind of like shoot that thing in there and then they stitch you up. But this time they had to cut me open. So I'm, at the doctor's office, another one. This one, it went well. By the time all of the numbing hit me, all I felt was just like a little pressure of them removing the implant and then putting in the other one. And then, I was bandaged up and I was good to go. Fast forward like 9 months later, I started experiencing a lot of pain in my arm. And I'm like, this is not going to work. I had also went to a spa and got a massage, and the masseuse kind of rubbed really hard on my arm. And for the next 2 weeks, it was like this burning pain. I couldn't sleep. Tylenol was not helping. Aspirin, nothing was helping. Ice packs, nothing. Heating pads, nothing. Like literally nothing was helping this. I was like, okay, we might have to get this removed. So at the time, I had a different insurance, and I couldn't see the doctor that put it in. So I was like, oh great, this is just like up and down. Love that. I didn't really enjoy my experience there, but I was just kind of like, yo, get this out of me. It's fine. So I go there, and the doctor's bedside manner, I'm just like, what? Where is it? Where can we find it, please? And this man said to me, he's like, are you sure you want to take this out? He's like, I hate to break it to you, Taylor, but this is probably happening because you're getting older. And I'm like, okay. First of all, calm down. I'm fucking 31 or 32. Calm down. Like, it's not that deep. And yes, I want to take it out. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to go get the stuff to get the, to numb your arm up, but I don't see a ring on your finger. So maybe we should start talking about how to protect yourself. Child, I wanted to cuss him something stink. But I was like, no, it's okay. I just take this shit out of my arm and I'll have to come back to you again. The other part of me was like, well, what if I didn't believe in marriage? What if that was the case? Or what if I didn't even want kids? You didn't even consider any of that. That's why I'm like, you could just be quiet. Shh. I think it was in that moment that I decided, you know what? This is the third male OBGYN that I have dealt with. The first one being with the fibroid stuff. Second with the, being 28 and having a baby. And the third one with this one, no ring on my finger. Hey, I was like, you know what? I want a woman, okay? I want a woman, please. So anyways, I was free of the birth control. I had some bandages on. I think you had to let the bandages fall off or whatever. It was really gross looking. And I still have the scar. It's right underneath my tap, but what you gonna do? I have been birth control free as of July. I think July of 2022. So it's been fun, kind of like relearning my body and being in tune with myself and just, offering some patience and understanding for the mood swings or just like whatever. Because when you get off of birth control, any birth control that you're on, the hormones, the synthetic hormones that are in your bloodstream are gone. So now you have to like regulate all of that, and you might flip out. Who knows? I'm pretty sure. The 3 common reasons why women get off of birth control is because of the side effects, right? Because of like you're gaining weight, you're stressed out, you're depressed, you got mood swings, you're bloated, all kinds of things will happen. Perhaps you have a desire to conceive. I think that's like the number one thing, right? Like, if I want to have a baby, we got to get this birth control out of my system or wherever, out of my body, whatever. And then I think the last one would be like personal preference. If I were to pick from this list, it would be all 3 of them. All 3 of them. Because, granted, I'm not ready to have a baby right now. I thought I was, but I'm not ready to have a baby right now. I just didn't want to be on birth control anymore. I wanted my life back. I wanted to like get periods again, as crazy as that sounds. I just wanted to like continue on this wellness journey. So now that I'm not on birth control, I feel less crazy. I will say that being on birth control had killed my libido. I know we're getting real personal today. It had killed my libido. I was like, ooh, don't touch me. Like, why? And now it's like the reverse. I feel like a teenage girl, like, oh my God, you know? And it's so funny. Speaking of that, right? There was a study about like 10 years ago, I think, about how women choose their partners while they're on birth control versus while they're not. And I just thought that was so funny because I'm like, it's almost like when you break up with someone and then you like the rose colored glasses come off and you're just like, oh, okay. So maybe I can put a link up for the study in the description, but I thought that was really interesting just to see because I'm like, I wonder what my future partners will be like now that I'm picking birth control free. And all in all, I feel, I wouldn't say like less emotional, but I feel more in control of my emotions. Like I know when I can name it. I know when like, oh, okay, my period's coming soon. This is why I feel frustrated, or this is why I feel so tired, or this is why I'm like craving all of this chocolate. And I will say, aside from like just getting off birth control, but cutting back on all of the processed foods. I mean, you know me, I love to cook, but there was a point in time where I was just ordering because I didn't have time, busy girl. And, you know, cutting back on the processed foods has really helped to, I don't even know if stabilize is the right word, but just to alleviate the pain from cramps, really, honestly and truly. So, you know, being off of birth control, I really put a focus into what I put into my body as well, because it's all connected, all connected. So funny. I used to work at a plastic surgeon's office, and whenever the girls, we would get our periods, we would just put up like a sign that says Shark Week. So the male doctors, the male employees knew better. I thought that was funny. I mean, I might start doing that. Just put that. I mean, where would I advertise that? It's like, hey, it's Shark Week. Please bear with me. I'm trying to think if I had any like downsides to like not being on birth control. I mean, I'm glad to have my emotions back. And I know people think like, oh, your emotion, I'm like, no, it is a power, a superpower, if you will, to be able to feel things. I think that is great. I think it's healthy. Now that I'm like birth control free and I have been for some time, you know, when periods come around, yeah, there might be some lower back pain. There might be a little bit of swollen boobs. All in all, I feel good. I can even feel when I'm ovulating. Yo, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm like, oh, well, hello. Hello there, egg. Do y'all feel that? Let me know. Please let me know if you also feel the egg release, because it's real. It's real. And it's crazy to think about being on birth control for like decades or something like that, and then coming off and having to really relearn your body, yourself, your cycle, all of that. Sidebar, question for you guys. Do you think that Beyonce was ovulating when she wrote Sugar Mama? Just think about that. Think about the end, right? She just goes crazy. She's like, take my credit card. Here's my house. Take my car. Don't forget to give mama some sugar before you walk out that door. Some sugar for mama walk out that door. Like, girl, Giselle was in heat. Anyways, listening to your body is key. And that can apply in so many things, especially like with exercising. But we go through different phases. I'm telling you, we probably only get 1 week of feeling normal when you're not on birth control. But, you know, during your menstrual and luteal phase, I think that's the time to kind of take it easy, you know, go for walks, go on your hot girl walks, you know, do stretching, Pilates, yoga, as far as exercising goes. And I think saving it for the follicular and ovulation phase to just kind of ham it in, do all that strength training, you know, cardio, all that stuff. So, you know, being really in tune with yourself is an upside, I would say, to being off of birth control. Like, I love it. I love it. I feel so sensual. Let's see, tracking your cycle. Yeah. There are a lot of apps. I think Apple even has some health section about it. Tracking your symptoms is really helpful too. So when you do go see your doctors, your OBGYNs, you go to your annual checkup, you can look through the app and see like what was regular, what was irregular, and kind of bring that up with your doctor. Remember, talk to your healthcare professionals. And I think maybe this is another side note, but I feel like it's safe to say this here. I think that childbirth is just too dangerous to have with anybody. Okay? Listen, my cousin told me that childbirth for her felt like she was shitting knives. And I was like, wow, I am adding 3 more years to having kids because what? And also, like, what kind of knife? Like, chef's, butter, cheese, what are we talking? Butcher. But yeah, and so, but on a serious note, I do find that with doing the research for my documentary, it was infuriating to see all of the medical mistreatment and then just talking to other people, other women, and hearing their stories too. But there's a lot of racial bias in the medical industry when it comes to Black and brown women. And I promise you, I'm just gonna say this with my pinky so you know I'm real. I promise you, whoever it is that I end up marrying and having pickney them for, if I am at the hospital and some healthcare professional tries to gaslight me about my pain and my husband doesn't almost John Q this place, you wait 6 weeks and I'm coming for everybody. I'm coming for everybody. Okay. Just off the rail a bit, but it's like the medical mistreatment of Black and brown women is so infuriating, and I feel like I can make a whole other video about that, but I'm not gonna do that today. We're just gonna stick to life after birth control. Another topic that I wanted to touch on really quickly is male birth control. And you know how the Supreme Court did their big one in 2022 and overturned Roe versus Wade. I'm not even zen. But there has been an uptick in men wanting birth control or some kind of contraceptive. And you know what? Can we be real? Could you imagine what the doctors would tell men who decline the male birth control in the same ways that they do women in the office, doctor's office? If you know, you know. Oh my God. You tell the doctor that you don't want to be on birth control, it's like, oh, how are you going to protect yourself? What are you going to do? It's like, yo, calm down, okay? I appreciate it, but like, calm down. Everybody, it's going to be okay. I'll give you a little story time. Once upon a time, very long ago, I brought a boyfriend home to meet my Caribbean family. And after he said hello and the niceties, you know what that man opened up his mouth to say? He told my Caribbean family that he is here for male birth control and can't wait. And I'm like, you know, in the Caribbean, when you get a double greeting, you fucked up. Like a hi, hello, like what? What do you mean? So yeah, safe to say we're not together, but male birth control, I feel like the world could benefit from it. I would be so curious to see how that plays out. Like I would love to see that in my lifetime of the men being on birth control and seeing what that does to them. Not some torture shit, but just, you know, just want to see, how do you handle it? It's been a little over 2 years, and you know, I was asking myself, would I get back on birth control? I hope not, to be honest. I don't want to be on birth control. Right now, I'm not really concerned with that because I'm a lover girl on pause. But, you know, when it's time to plan the families and things like that, I don't know, maybe I don't want to be on it. I know there's a lot of talk about vasectomies and the effectiveness and things like that. So maybe we'll cross that bridge when I get there. But yeah, no, I don't know. I'm not too concerned about getting back on birth control. However, I am concerned about the millions of women that are not able to have those same resources in different states in this country. It is ridiculous that we are here. You know what I mean? Again, another video for another day. I'm trying to keep the politics part off of this channel because I will get heated. Obviously, this is a crazy time to be alive right now in this country. Like, they're literally attacking our reproductive rights. So I will always say, like, do what works best for you. I'm not sitting here and saying that birth control is the devil, because I know that it helps for different things of like, you know, weight control or keeping your periods down. Maybe if you have heavy periods, things like that. But a part of me is kind of like, well, maybe we should get to the, you know, the root of that problem versus just, you know, prescribing birth control to everyone as this solution for everything that involves a vagina and a uterus. So, yeah. Please, 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 please always consult with the healthcare professional and get a second opinion. And this is specifically to my Black and brown women out there. If you come into a situation where you're dealing with a doctor that doesn't have bedside manner, doesn't care, is gaslighting you, or trying to downplay your pain, please, if you can, based on your insurance or something, please find another doctor. You do not have to put up with that. We can't give up. We can't give up. We can't do it alone. We need more research. We need more funding for research. It's tough. Like, ugh, God, it's breaking my heart because I know. Yeah, let's wrap. If you're thinking about getting off birth control or you're off of it, I'd love to know, like, what changes have you noticed? Like, do you feel better? Do you feel worse? What's going on? Love to share in the comment. We have to keep this conversation going. They're trying to silence us. No. They're trying to erase us. No. So we have to keep this conversation going, please. You know, and remember, give yourself some patience and lead with awareness when it comes to getting off of birth control. It's not easy. Your hormones are all over the place. And this is for my men out there. You know, if your lady is getting off birth control, hey, give her some grace. Give her some grace because things are a little wacky within the bloodstream. That's all that I have today. Hopefully this wasn't like too long. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you loved anything that I spoke about here today. If you want to keep the conversation going, feel free to send me a DM on Instagram. It's Taylor-Alexis, TaylorAlexs. And we can talk all things period, all things, you know, birth control, all things wellness when it comes to that. You know, take care of yourselves, please, please. And don't give up the fight. All right. Bye, guys. Till next time.